Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Lindsay, and I'm with Enrollment Services here at the Division of Continuing Education at the University of Colorado at Boulder. Today, we're going to be covering what it's like to take an online class with continuing education. I'd like to introduce today's presenters. We have Amy Lee and Nick Honeycutt. Amy is our online program coordinator, and Nick is one of our instructional designers. Now, for what we'll be covering today, we're going to go over what to expect in an online class, and we'll also talk about some tips on how to be successful. We'll go over some of the frequently asked questions that we get, and then finally we'll answer any questions that you have. On your dashboard, you should see a spot to enter some questions. So go ahead and do that as the presentation is going on, and we'll address those all at the end once we've gone through everything. So without further delay, I'll pass it over to Nick and Amy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lindsay. So one of the questions that we get more often than any other probably is if our online courses are just as rigorous as face-to-face classes. And the answer is yes. In fact, we often have the same instructors teaching the classes. For example, Anthropology 2010, Physical Anthropology is often taught by the same person face-to-face as well as online. We use the same course level objectives as well as module level objectives in these courses that you're going to see on main campus, and the same credit that you receive on your transcript. The big difference between online and face-to-face is that online provides flexibility. You will have weekly deadlines, but you can structure it in a way that makes sense for your life. Maybe you have to work in the evening, maybe you have to work in the morning. Online provides that flexibility, but the expectations and the course quality is the same as what you would see on a face-to-face campus class.
Students usually have access to an online term-based course 2 days prior to the course starting date for fall and spring, and 4 days prior for summer. So this is a good chance for you to look over the course and get familiar with the course platform and structure. And the most important thing is to read the syllabus. So the slide shows here is an example of a course homepage. Some instructors will post a link to the syllabus from their homepage. And if you do not see the syllabus link here, you can click on Modules tab, which is on the left-hand side navigation bar, and you should be able to find it there. So in the syllabus, you will first find the information about your instructor's contact info and if your instructor holds online office hours. You will also find the course description, overview, objectives, and required reading and textbooks. Another important item in the syllabus is the types of assessments, such as written assignments, quizzes, exams, and online discussion. The grading criteria section will let you know the weight for each assessment. Also really important is about policies. There are course policies and the university policies. Course policies such as late assignment submission. And keep in mind that even though you do not need to log into the course at a certain time and day, you do need to submit a certain assignment or participate in a certain discussion forum by a certain date. And oftentimes instructors do not accept late assignment submission unless you can show proof of your extenuating circumstances, such as medical documentation. So watch out for the course policies carefully. And there are university policies such as which include information as plagiarism and honor code. Some instructors also put information about technology requirements when you take their course. So you can see there are a lot of information you need to know. So make sure you read the syllabus before you proceed to the modules.
Speaking of the syllabus, one thing that you're going to find in a lot of our classes is a syllabus quiz. Because you're not meeting on the first day of class to go through the syllabus and ask any questions there, the syllabus quiz really gets everybody on the same page. The instructor identifies certain pieces of the syllabus they want you to pay special attention to and will often ask questions about it. Lectures are also something that's a little bit different in an online environment. Here, the majority of our lectures are video-based. And so what this means is that you can rewatch a lecture over and over again until you understand the content. But a lot of times, the lecture content is going to be extremely similar to what you're going to have on main campus, except these are often chunked into smaller pieces. So instead of sitting through a 50-minute or an hour and 15-minute lecture, these lectures are often 10 to 15 minutes, just multiple versions of that small time frame.
Online discussions are held weekly or bi-monthly, and some are held more frequently in a week. You will find these discussion forums under the Discussions tab on the left-hand side navigation bar. Discussions are held asynchronously, which means you do not have to be online and discuss a certain topic with your peers at a certain date and time. You can write down your answers in the Word document and then copy-paste to the discussion board. And oftentimes, you also have to comment or provide feedback to your peers' postings. The example shown in this slide, you can see the due date for each posting. And oftentimes, you can find the information in the course calendar or syllabus as well. So when participating in online discussions, please write your submissions in the professional voice and interact respectfully with your peers.
So let's talk a little bit about assignments. So while the majority of your assignments are probably going to be completed in Microsoft Word, each class has a variety of assignments really depending on the discipline and the course objectives for that class. For example, some classes require video projects or development of websites, maybe a PowerPoint presentation. Our learning management system, Canvas, accepts all these different formats, and so the process for submitting it is very similar no matter what type of assignment you're submitting.
Quizzes and exams are under the assignments, or sometimes instructors will post links in modules. They could be either multiple choices or essay questions. Before taking each quiz, read the information regarding time limit and number of attempts allowed for each quiz. And make sure you have reliable internet connection before you start the quiz. And keep in mind that you are not allowed to exceed the time limit. Some of you might have experience with a previous CU's learning management system called Desire to Learn, which let you go over the time limit for a minute or two, and sometimes even longer. But with Canvas, when the time is up, that's it. So here, just a quick example of a multiple choice quiz. So you can see it's quite self-explanatory. If your quiz has only multiple choices questions, usually you will be able to see your grade immediately in the gradebook. And if they are essay questions, then you will need to wait until the instructor finished grading and uploaded the grade in the gradebook.
So time management is very important in an online class. I would recommend selecting a time and a day throughout multiple days throughout the week when you're going to focus on your schoolwork. It's really easy if you don't do this to sort of leave everything to the end of the week and then run out of time. So for example, if you're working on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, maybe dedicate Monday, Tuesday, and Saturdays to the course and making sure that you're working in the course for a couple hours each day. You want to be self-directed. The instructor can help, but you still have to do the work, and that's something that's difficult to do if you don't have a plan. So I recommend finding the best time for you based on your work schedule, and then plan your whole course schedule around that.
And it is really important to review your grades regularly in the gradebook so that you are aware of your progress and if there are any required coursework missing when you submit the assignment. And again, the gradebook could be found in the navigation bar. And read the instructor's feedback on your written assignments or quizzes so that you continue making improvement throughout the course. If you have any questions or concerns regarding the grades you received, you should contact the instructor right away.
Another best practice that I recommend is logging in every day. This not only keeps it at the top of your mind, but maybe it even makes you dream about your course a little bit, which is always a good thing. Discussion boards really take the place of the face-to-face discussion that you would have in an in-person class. And so it's very important to stay up to date. What we see oftentimes in our classes is an initial post that's due on Tuesday or Wednesday, and this is oftentimes a little bit longer post responding to some type of prompt, and then a follow-up post that's due on Thursday or Friday. And this is where you have the opportunity to interact and respond to other classmates in your course. You're also probably going to find the instructor is going to be pretty active in your discussion, and so if you go off the rails a little bit, hopefully your instructor will get in there and guide you to where you want to be. Don't be like this ostrich.
Both Google Chrome and Firefox are the supported browsers for Canvas. So you may access your course using whichever the browser you prefer. However, it is highly recommended that you use Google Chrome, especially when viewing the video lectures. You can access Canvas using your mobile phone's web browser, and there are also Canvas apps designed for students. So you could perform many of the course activities using Canvas mobile app. Like you can view your course content, access the grades, submit assignments, post messages to the discussion, and you can even take quizzes. OIT Office also has a student support videos for Canvas available online. So if you are interested, please go to oit.colorado.edu and select Services, Teaching and Learning Tools, Canvas, and then Student Support.
So the Composition Hub is basically the online equivalent of the CU Writing Center. So if you've ever been to the Writing Center in Norland Library, this is really just the online equivalent. With the tutors there, they can help you with brainstorming ideas for an assignment, as well as drafting, revising, or polishing a paper or other presentation. This service is available synchronously through Google Hangouts or asynchronously through an email-based consultation, whichever works best for you.
Textbooks are available in the CU bookstore. You may simply drop by the UMC bookstore or purchase by going to the bookstore website, which is www.cubookstore.com, and go under the textbook tab. Or you can go to the class search website. It is classes.colorado.edu and do a course search, and then you'll see the link to find your textbook. You may also purchase the book through any other online resources such as Amazon or usedbook.com, or borrow from a library. Just need to make sure that you locate the correct edition of the textbook. You should contact the instructor directly if you have a question about an assignment, a grade, or the course content. Again, you can find the instructor contact information on the course homepage or in the syllabus. If you need technical support or have a question about your Canvas account, please contact the OIT office at help@colorado.edu. And if you have a question about your registration or need further assistance, feel free to contact me in the online credit office at cewww@colorado.edu.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amy and Nick. Before we get to the FAQs, I just wanted to remind everyone to submit any questions you might have. Again, on that dashboard, there's a spot for you to enter those questions. So now let's go to some of our frequently asked questions. First one, how long does it take to finish an online class?
Great question. So we have a variety of terms for online classes. We have 14-week classes, we have 10-week classes, and even over the summertime, we have 5-week classes. So it really depends on the time of year. I'd encourage you to go look at the class schedule and pay special attention to the schedule, because that will tell you exactly how long the course will be.
Awesome. Okay. Next question is going to be, do I have to log into the class at a specific time?
Good question. So the answer is no. We have all of our classes are asynchronous, meaning that you have the ability to log on at a time that works for you. There's not a specific time, for example, at 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights that you need to participate. It's really up to you. That being said, there are weekly deadlines throughout the week that are important that you meet. You just have the option to complete the work at a time that works for you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Does an online course count the same as an on-campus course?
Yes, you do receive the same university credits. The course will appear on your transcript automatically as any other classes, and the grade will be averaged to your overall GPA. So it doesn't show as an online course on your transcript.
Okay, awesome. And then what should I expect if I'm on the wait list for an online course?
Students on the waitlist will have access to the class in Canvas up until the drop add deadline. So it is recommended that you follow the first week's calendar and read the course materials, prepare for the assignments. You can even participate in the online discussion so that you won't fall behind if someone drops and you get enrolled in. But keep in mind, if you do not get enrolled in by the drawback deadline, we will purge the waitlist and you will not continue to have access to the course.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, and then how many classes can I take online towards my degree at CU?
Generally speaking, you can transfer 30 credit hours towards your degree program. Not really a transfer, it's going to show on your transcript automatically, but 30 credit hours. And when in doubt, it is recommended that you contact your academic advisor or talk to one of our academic advisors to confirm, especially when you are taking online courses to fulfill a core or a general ed requirement. There's also another restriction to keep in mind. We do offer about 15 online self-paced courses. And the policy for CU degree students is that you can be active in no more than 2 online self-paced courses at a time. But you can always complete one or both courses and register for more.
Awesome. That actually goes right into some of the questions we've been getting, which is great. The first one is, can you tell us a little bit more about self-paced courses?
The self-paced courses, students can register them anytime, any day. And then you have up to 6 months from your enrollment date to complete the course. And we do have a policy that the minimum timing to complete a self-paced course is 3 weeks. But also when you have access to the course, read the syllabus. Oftentimes the instructor will have the restriction how fast you can go through their course. For example, the instructor will let you know no more than 2 assignments or 1 assignment per 7-day period. So some courses, it does take longer, a lot longer than just 3 weeks. And so for self-paced courses, you have about 40 days to review the course and look at the platform. If you decide it is not a course for you, you can drop within 40 calendar days with full tuition refund.
Okay, Awesome. Always a good reminder. Okay, so back to term-based classes. We have a couple questions about this. Are all of the assignments posted at the beginning of the semester, or do they get kind of unlocked as time goes on? And then with that, how far ahead can a student work in a term-based class?
It's really, I'd say for the majority of the term-based courses, it's a cohort model. And so you're going to see probably on Saturday or Sunday, the weeks ahead will be made available, and then the next week ahead. And the reason that it's done like that is because the instructors really want there to be a sense of community for the students. And so if you're going along studying the same thing at the same time, it really encourages you to be able to interact with your students, other students that are going through have the same questions about the course content. So for the vast majority of our classes, it really is a week by week type of thing as far as the course content is concerned.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. This student has some questions about if there's additional instructions on how to use the portals if they've never taken an online class. I think you guys mentioned something about OIT, but are there some good places to go if you've never taken one before and you're still feeling a
Yeah,
little
I mean,
confused?
Canvas is our learning management system, and so you can certainly watch any tutorials that Canvas produces, as well as in individual classes. We encourage our instructors to do course tours because we know that different online courses are set up a little bit differently, and so the course tour really is designed to orient the students to that particular class, and so they know that, okay, this is where I'm going to find this on a weekly basis. I need to go here, that kind of thing. So really pay attention to the course tour when you log into the class for the first time, but feel free to look at any of the resources that Canvas has put out or our main OIT group has put out as well.
Okay, awesome. Always good to ask for help, right? And better
Absolutely.
sooner rather than later is always a good rule of thumb. Okay, and our last question, and this might be a good question for an advisor, but maybe you guys know too. If the person is retaking an online class to help their GPA or better their grade, do you know how that affects their credits from the in-person class if they took it in person previously?
It definitely will. The new grade will be averaged to your overall GPA, but you will not receive the credits if you are just repeating a class.
Okay,
So
that's
keep in
what
mind, it's not going to towards your total required credit hours for your degree program.
Yeah, awesome. And then, okay, do online course instructors hold office hours?
A lot of them do, and most of them are online office hours. And quite some of them, because they are main campus professors, so they offer to meet online students face to face. So check in the syllabus to see how you can best communicate with the instructor.
Yep, we also have ones that are happy to meet over the phone or through Skype or something like that if you're not based here in Boulder.
Awesome. Lots of options. Okay, and then the last question is, how do labs work for online classes?
I don't believe we offer a ton of classes that have labs currently. And so do you have anything to add to that, Amy?
I know that we have Geography 1001 and 1011. These two courses are 4 credit hour course and 1 credit is a lab work. But still, there's not like a classroom you have to go to. Instructor will provide information how you can fulfill this lab work for that credit hour. So.
Awesome. Okay, this one we get all the time. When do students get access to their classes on Canvas?
So as I mentioned earlier, for spring and fall, students usually have access to the course 2 days prior to the course starting date. And oftentimes I will send a reminder a week before and also the course starting date. So you will receive an email from cewww@colorado.edu. And for summer, students will have access to the course 4 days prior to the course starting date. Again, I will send you the email reminder. If that's a self-paced courses, usually within 24 to 48 hours from the day of your enrollment, you will have access to the course in Canvas. So if you do not, always contact the office to find out what's going on and make sure that your registration, your enrollment went through.
Okay, awesome. And then our last question is going to be about textbooks. So he's asking if there are textbooks for classes or if it's just videos.
Depends on courses. A lot of courses do have required textbooks, and some instructors will put the PDF in their courses. So check the syllabus and check the CU Bookstore website, and we'll let you know if they are required textbooks or you can borrow or purchase.
Okay, awesome. All right, that's it. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you again to Nick and Amy. Thank you all for joining us today and for having such great questions. And then I did want to say one last thing. We do have a few upcoming webinars. There's one about financial aid for non-degree students, and then also if you're not quite set up in the system as a student yet, an option to learn more about how that works as well. So if you want to join us for those or hear about any of our other upcoming events, you can see them at the website, which is ce.colorado.edu/events, and it's there on the screen as well. But thank you again to Nick and Amy, and thanks for everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.